I want you to stand up. We're going to start class moving because it's good for the demons. They like it. So you can sway. Just having like 5 minutes of moving your body. Whatever way you want to. You can sway, you can walk around, you can strut, you can do a little yoga. So that's ending. Let's see what's next. Oh no.
Cool.
Oh yeah, this is a good song. Yeah. Okay, come on. It just happened. How many people feel like they belong to this era? This is the flapper era, right? I'm making a mixtape for a friend. This is it. I know. Let your silly demons and allies come out. Loosen up. Who cares? This is the Olympics. You do everything differently here. I thought you were coming to a meditation class, but instead you're coming to a swing dance class. And if anybody wants to come up on the stage and like dance in front of everybody, you can do it. Come on. Come on, come on. I see some people. Come on up. Yes, you got it, girl. Come on. Take it in, we're watching you. What did you come in here with? Like, did you bring some shit in from work? Shake it off. Shake that moneymaker. Do you have a moneymaker? Find it. Shake it. Find the moneymakers. Shake it off. You know, a true sign of spiritual maturity and realization is being playful and childlike. So if you've got the serious disease, shake it off. That's right. Now make it a little bigger. Do you make yourself small? Make yourself 5 times bigger or 5% bigger. You know, this kind of music came out of the Great Depression. It's kind of like we need this kind of music after COVID. Right? Don't you think? Woo! Okay, great. Nice. Thanks, guys. Okay, this one's good too. We could just have a dance party. I'm pretty good at making playlists, I have to say. Okay, let's just do for a few minutes. You like this kind of music? Okay, now get funky. Can't lose a lot from love. I hope nobody's in the next room. Lose it and you've lost your mind. You've got me onto something. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Can't lose a lot from love. Ooh. Lose it and you've lost your mind. Everything's a little bigger. There's always a place and time. The city's all our garden. It's a different state of mind. Gotta move a little quicker. We're all trying to keep in check. The city's moving faster than I thought it would. It's not what the people said. You got me onto something. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Yeah. Can't lose a lot from love. Lose it and you've lost your mind. You got me onto something. Sit back, enjoy the ride. Can't lose a lot from love. Lose it and you've lost your mind. It's a bit of change to adjust to. You could never be prepared. There's no need to ask for permission.
All right, we're going to wind it down.
Judge it right and you'll be there.
Aww. Unless you beg me.
You'll be there. You'll be
Unless
there.
you beg.
You'll be
Okay,
there.
we're going to wind it down. We got some serious business to do. All right.
You got me onto something. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Okay, so come down for a landing. Sit down, be comfortable. Let's sit for a few minutes and just feel what the movement opened up in us. Feel the contrast. And just without applying any antidote, just be in the moment with the breath in your body. Sit for a few minutes. Just becoming comfortable with the quiet, becoming comfortable with the space. Familiar with the unknown. Feeling the earth beneath you, the ground supporting you. Just put down your burden. Oh, release that with an exhalation. What are you holding? You don't have to hold it all. We're such good people. We're so responsible. Be a little irresponsible right now and just put that shit down. Oh, give it back to the earth for a little while and just let yourself be. Can you just let yourself be? Let it be. And then as the earth supports us, the ground beneath us, then the body begins to relax and open, aligning with what is true in this moment, begins to open up the channels. The subtle body begins to open when the mind aligns with the prana aligns with the breath and the body rhythms. And the channels can flow. Prana through the channels. It's unrestricted. Breathe into the belly, feel the belly soften and receive that breath. Maybe there's some warmth that begins to be enkindled at the belly, the navel center. Breath and awareness down into the belly. The pelvic floor, the sacrum, the low back, the sides, the front. Just This area is called the seat of prana, the seat, the subtle energy, life force. And then the warmth begins to rise and tickle the heart chakra like a flower that wants to bloom. The heart space begins to open and feel breath and awareness in the heart space, the heart chakra, center of the sternum. Breath and awareness residing in the heart chakra. Maybe there's a warmth and opening and aerating, the settling of the mental energy down into the heart, a rising of the warmth of the hara, the bowl of the pelvis, a rising into the heart. Everything's meeting, creating life, the blooming. And feel as this heart center begins to bloom and open that you feel this loving awareness beginning to grow within you. It's your awareness that is love, love that is awareness. And feel this loving awareness spreading out throughout your body and then through the skin to your neighbors, left and right. Feel that interconnected, loving awareness. Feeling your neighbors front and back, diagonal, the seen and unseen beings, above and below, all around us. And feeling that you are the center of your mandala, situating yourself in this place and time. And the blooming of the heart center then begins to open up the free flow of energy, of Shakti, from the base, up through the heart, through the throat, and into the head center. When the head center is enlivened, the third eye, the crown, begin to experience luminosity, a wakefulness, the clarity. Enlivened by the energy rising from below. Here, present in the belly, open, spacious in the heart, warmth, awake, present, radiant in the head. 3 centers. And then feel, we bring the light and we also bring the dark, because without the dark there's no light. Without the light there's no dark. If you're feeling open, spacious, present, all these pleasant feelings, we can bring that to meet a part or parts of ourselves that feel neglected or dark or unknown or confused or lost. This is simply what the so-called demons are, those parts of ourselves that block our experience of freedom. And scan through your body, mind, heart, and feel, what is it that's gnawing at you, that's pressing your buttons, that's draining your energy, blocking you? You may have a handful of things, but what feels closest to the surface? And you don't need to fix it, or just land on that. Say, okay, I'd like to work with you tonight. We're going to go on a journey together. Oh, this heartbroken part, or depressed part, or anxious part, or angry part. I'm going to take you by the hand and go on a journey together. Don't be afraid. So we'll come together now. You'll have some more time to decide too. Don't need to know right away, but I'd like to talk a little bit with you, and before we do the journey, go on the 5-step path, feeding your demons. So the 11th century female teacher, Mache Globdran, who developed the practice that this feeding your demons modern practice is based on, Mache Globdran defined demons as that which block your experience of freedom in your life and in your path, your liberation path, like enlightenment. And she learned from the sutras, the teachings of the Buddha, that demons are taught and discussed in Buddhism, and not as some external force, but as the inner shadow, the fears, the hopes. Hope and fear, Buddha taught. We suffer because we oscillate between wanting things and not wanting things, hoping things happen, fearing things will happen. And in that interesting context, both hope and fear are considered demons. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of obvious why fears would be demons, right? Because they're unpleasant. They keep us from doing things, from branching out, breaking up, leaving an old job and opening up to a new one. Like fear is more obviously a block, right? But why do you think hope would also be a demon? Why would it be an obstacle? Yes, and tell me your name if you don't mind. So.
Marnie.
Marnie?
Yeah. Hope is a form of grasping, and there is some anxiety within hope.
Yeah. Yes. In what way? Anxiety.
Well, there's an impulse to like control and manifest.
Yes.
That has a rigidity to it.
Yeah. It's like you're freeze framing the future. I hope this happens, and then there's kind of a rigidity or grasping to it. It's well put, very well put, and there's a lot of truth to that. Yes.
Well, hope can also block you from doing things too.
Yes. In what way? Do you want to give an example?
Well,
do you have an example in your life?
I hope I'll get rich tomorrow. It's blocking me from, actually doing things I need to do.
Yeah.
That's an extreme example.
Sure. No, but I think it's good. Yeah. So if we're always hoping something happens, we might not be okay with the steps that it might take to get to that place, or some place that might be more fruitional than it is today.
And it also keeps you from accepting things as they are.
And it keeps you from accepting things that as they are. So, maybe one more. Yes. Tell me your name too. Krishna.
So sometimes hope can be good, but other times you can build a false sense of identity around like hope. So for example, like someone maybe died and you hope they came back or something. It's nice to have like good feeling for them and like wishing that I guess they cross over in a smooth way.
Yeah.
But you don't want to cling to that in a way that blocks your life. So it's like, I hope they're probably not coming back. So you have to accept things to move on. And then the last thing is you oscillate between hope and despair. That's the way I describe it. Like despair is this side and hope is like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So you can oscillate between the two, and then you get very like you're giving up hope and despair for enlightenment. That's how
Yeah, nice. Good. Yeah, what you're saying is making me think of something else too. And these are all wonderful answers. You know, hope is an expression of clinging, of grasping. So you both kind of touched on that, and you did too. And fear is an aspect of aversion. So another way of saying that of explaining that we suffer, the Buddha said, is we move between two of the three primary poisons, which are attachment and aversion. And not healthy attachment style, but like clingy attachment, sticky attachment, grasping. Zinba in Tibetan, Zinba means to grasp. And so that's another way that we can understand hope and fear. You know, fear is being averse to things, and hope is being overly clinging and grasping towards things. Yeah, and hope interrupts, and fear, both of them interrupt our ability to be with what is right now. I mean, sometimes that's all we can do. And there's a lot of healing in that. Other times we have to make a change, you know, we have to make an effort to actually change and not just sit back and say, oh, well, that's just the way it is, you know. But part of the path and maturing and getting older and wiser, hopefully, is to know when it's time to sit and be cool with what is. And other times when it's right to make a change. Pull the rug out from under yourself or someone else, like your kid, like snap out of it, you know. Get off the game. Go outside. So hope and fear. So demons of fear, demons of hope. There's also demons of self-grasping, and that's the core demon, is this clinging at a separate sense of self. And that's core Buddhist teaching. It's also what Machi Glabdran taught is the root demon. There are 4 demons in her system. And the first is the outer demons. The second are the inner demons. The third are the demons of elation, which is like hopes. Like we get high, like it's the things that, like, it's the drug addiction, it's the fame and the grasping at that type of hope. Demons of elation. I can explain more in a second. I'm just listing them. And then the fourth is the ego clinging, or the demon of ego clinging. So the fourth is actually the root. It's the most essence, the deepest, because all those other 3 come about due to ego fixation. And ego is kind of not a perfect word in Buddhism. The early translators used the word ego for a term called dakzin, which means self-grasping. So I try to use self-grasping instead of ego. It's nice to have a healthy sense of ego, just like hope can be good. Hope can be a lifeline sometimes. Sometimes we need hope. I will get across the ocean. Somebody will come rescue me. I will heal from this disease. You know, hope is important. It's not like in Buddhism they say abandon all hope. But there are times when they do say, you know, like even, is it Rumi who said, I'll meet you out in that field beyond hope and fear? I paraphrased him. So there are times on the deep spiritual quest, like the ultimate truth, you do give up all hope. You dance the dance of no hope. But on relative level, every day, sometimes hope is medicine. Hope is a lifeline. So I trust you to know. We have to figure these things out ourselves too, with the help of our teachers and our readings and our practices, so that we can discern when hope is a lifeline. I just can't. I'm coming out of 3 years of pretty bad chronic pain. I had to have hope. If I didn't have hope that I would get out of it, I could have jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. I swear to God. I mean, I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but I know a lot of us have come to certain points in our life where we feel like it's just not, I can't go on, right? But then we have hope. Okay, I can get to the other side of this. And that's a lifeline. So I'm not trying to say don't have hope ever, or hope is bad, or you're foolish if you have hope. That's not what I'm saying. But there are times when hope can be an obstacle for the reasons these wonderful people mentioned. Outer demons. Outer demons are the demons that come into us from the outside. What do you think that means? Buddhism's very practical. What comes into us from the outside? Have you ever heard of the sense doors? So things come in through those doors. Everything that comes in through the 5 sense doors of the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the mouth, the ears, and then the touch faculty. So basically, like, if you hear somebody say, "Oh, you're such a piece of shit," ugh, that becomes a demon. It's like, really? Then you begin to believe it. So outer demons, that first one of Machiglabdrin that she mentions, are basically that which comes in from the outside. Maybe the baggage our parents dumped on us and the things culture puts on us. Then some of those things that come in from the outside actually take a life of their own. That could also be an illness, by the way, like viruses and bacteria and disease, toxins. Those are demons from the outside coming in. The second layer is the inner demons. The inner demons, she defined them as the demons that run on and on. The demons that run on and on. What does that sound like?
Internalized outside demons.
Yeah, that for sure. But really, it's like thoughts, feelings, the reruns, things that don't help us, So mom was a people pleaser, and she knowingly or unknowingly teaches that to you. And then you take on those thoughts. Oh, I don't want conflict. I want to make people happy. Is it cold in here? I want everybody to be happy. Yeah. Maybe we could. This has a mind of, we say 72, but then we go back to check it and suddenly it's at 50. And I don't know. There's the demon, the little gremlins. Yeah, maybe we turn it off for a while. And did you turn it off? Put it 74. So it's on 80. Yeah, let's do 74. I think that's we'll try. Okay, so demons that run on and on. It's like, yes, the internalized demons that came in from the outside. Sometimes they just seem like they're just a part of us, that they were always a part of us too, but they probably did have an origin outside. But you don't need to get too fixated on, are the inner demons always things that were from the outside that came in. The experience in this moment of inner demons are the things that run on and on. So it's this negative self-talk, the catastrophic thinking, the fixation, the obsessions, the phobias. These can all be demons. Like fear of flying is a demon because it limits your ability to move around, maybe go visit family for Christmas or whatever, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa. Mahashivaratri, like you want to have freedom to move around if that's what you want to do. So like a phobia, like a fear of something like that becomes bigger than you and you don't have control over it. That's an example of a demon that runs on and on. Low self-esteem. That's an internal demon. These clear so far? Outer, inner? Okay, and then the third is the demon of elation. This one's really funny because it's kind of like ego inflation, the demon of ego inflation. So it's hope. It's the imbalanced experiences as a hope that keep us from experiencing present moment and being with what is and being cool with who we are and not always wanting something else. Dissatisfaction can come from unrequited hope, And there's an old story. I'm gonna kind of summarize the story because I don't remember all the details. But often Tibetan Buddhism, the Tibetans have great stories, teaching stories. One is of this yogi who is a really, really advanced yogi, sincere practitioner, doing everything right. He goes off into the mountains, practices in a cave. The villagers respect him. He does divinations for them, says prayers for them. He spends, all of his life practicing. So he's very respected. And he's getting a name for himself, But so far, it seems like that's not going to his head. But then the story goes that some spirits wanted to test him. Because, the higher you get, the more kind of trickster energy comes around to test you. So he missed this, he wasn't completely omniscient. Because what happened was this spirit or this so-called demon came to him in a dream and appeared as a beautiful, voluptuous, sensual woman saying, "You are so realized. You are so amazing. I love you. We need to live together. I will help you take your practice higher." Of course, this is a story written by men for men. I could have written one. This hot man came to me in a dream. Or whoever, whatever your orientation is. But these stories are often written by men for men. And so, of course, just as in the Buddha's day, women to monastics are seen as temptresses. So in any case, but then we have this tradition of the yogis where you can take a partner, you can have a consort, and you practice sexual union as a part of your spiritual path. So it's not all bad, but if you aren't ready for it, it can lead you astray. It's easy to get kind of lost in that. So this spirit was testing him, sent him this dream. So it planted this idea in his head, and he woke up thinking about this dream. And then the next day, this young woman comes to offer him some milk, and she's very beautiful. And she makes the offering, and she prostrates to him and says, "Oh, you're so holy. Oh, you're so wonderful." And she's kind of doing that, flirting with him, and he says, "Come on into my cave, honey." And they hook up and they wind up having children together. And then his practice gets deteriorated and he's raising children and he can't practice as much. And he's pretty soon, the story goes that he's lost his path. He's was almost to complete liberation. And then the demon of elation came and knocked him off of the path. So that story is a little problematic in some ways, but what it shows you is that especially when you get into more of the rarefied air, it's easy to get blown off course a little bit. You have to know, what are your priorities, So the story goes that the villager said, "See, he had the demon of elation." He was tempted into going into a direction that he hadn't originally planned on going. So the demon of elation is about the ego getting puffed up. So this is very much related to meditative experiences. So as meditators, we have to be aware of this demon of elation. Maybe we sit down and we have this great meditation. Maybe we sit in samadhi for 3 hours straight and we're like, wow, I've achieved, access, some shamatha, and I'm actually a really great practitioner. Maybe I'm a tulku. Maybe I'm a reincarnated holy being. Why haven't they recognized me yet? And this is like an example of the demon of elation. And what they say is these experiences of bliss and meditation are actually the biggest obstacles, which is so interesting because often bliss is touted as if you sit, you'll experience bliss. It's like we're offered it on a platter of the reward is bliss. But the really great experienced meditators know that that's just an appetizer. That further into awakening is something much more balanced and expansive and sustainable than bliss. So bliss can be a deterrent. Why? Because we get attached to it. The ego gets fixated on it. Next time you sit down, you want it again, you want it more, and then it doesn't come. So then you get discouraged. It's not to say that when bliss happens in meditation, you don't enjoy it, but you mingle it with emptiness. Bliss, emptiness, commingling is the teaching. And emptiness not in void or meaninglessness, but emptiness in terms of the non-solidity, the non-grasping at whatever is arising. Bliss or despair, bliss or pain even. Okay, so that's the demon of elation. Then the demon of ego fixation, or let's say self-grasping, dak zin, is the root of all our problems, the Buddha said, because we grasp as something that's not there. It's like a phantom. What we think of as me, I, me, mine, doesn't actually exist. And so we're chasing after a mirage, and we'll never be happy. I want this, I need that, I'm this, I need to achieve that. If you want to do it because you love the art of it, or you're doing something because it feels wonderful, that's great. But putting all of your investments in the bank of the sense of self is a mistaken investment, the Buddha said, because the bank's not even there. You're flushing money down the toilet. We're actually a confluence of what are called the 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates, which is not a very sexy word, but you're just a heap. Yeah, they actually translate skandha as heap, the heaps. You're just a pile of heaps. You're just 5 different heaps. Form, made up of the 5 elements. That's the first heap. Because we have form, then we have the second, which is feeling. Because we're in a body, we actually can make contact with things and we feel cold, hard. So form, feeling. Then based on the feeling, we perceive. So it's perception. So the feeling is cold. My perception is, I like it. So pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. Perception. The 4th heap is karmic volition. Like, because of the karmic imprints that I'm carrying from a past life, I like this bell. I want to hug it. I want to take it home with me. I do, really do. I love this bell. I love the way it sounds. I'm so attached. Oh, I love that sound. I'm not kidding, actually. So that's my karma. Maybe I lived in Japan. Maybe I was a Japanese tulku. I've karma with this bell. So that's the 4th heap. Then the 5th heap is consciousness. And it's not consciousness like, in other traditions, consciousness is often said like God, Christ consciousness. That's fine, but in Buddhism, when we say consciousness, if teachers are careful about their words, words matter and definitions matter. Consciousness doesn't refer to like Brahma or God in Buddhism. Consciousness refers to the consciousnesses that we have associated with our senses. So remember I talked about the sense doors? So I have the eye organ. When the sense object comes in and makes contact, so say like your blue shirt is the sense object. My sense organ of the eyes make contact with the sense object, your blue shirt. Those 2 things coming together create the eye consciousness. That's basically what's coming through the brain, like it's meeting and then it's being interpreted. And then there's this awareness, this consciousness of the blue shirt. Same with the nose, same with the tongue, same with the ears, same with the tactile sense of touch, the skin. And what's interesting in Buddhist psychology, the brain is an organ. It's the 6th organ. It's a 6th sense. So yes, all those prior 5 are filtered through the 6th of the brain. And there's also the brain consciousness. So those are called the 6 consciousnesses. So it's kind of like consciousness with a little c, But in Buddhism, there are 8 consciousnesses. The 7th consciousness is very interesting. It's like based on all of the sensory input that we're registering and then having consciousness about, awareness about, there becomes this consciousness that is the beginning of the eye maker. It's the sense of like, oh, all this coming together, it's got to be organized. And then it's the ahankara. So how many yogis are in the room who've studied yoga philosophy? Have you heard the word ahankara? I love this word, ahankara. You've heard this? It's the I maker. Kara means to make. It's the doer. Ahang means the I think it must mean the I, or the sense of self. So it's the I maker. Like when the Buddha attained enlightenment, he said, I saw the house, which was my body, but I saw there was no house maker. So this ahankara, it's this illusory, we think it starts to feel like the self, like Chandra. Because it's organized behind these walls and in my karmic stream. So it's understandable. But then what's interesting is based on these prior 7 consciousnesses, you have the 8th consciousness. Who knows what the 8th consciousness is? Do we have any Dharma nerds in the room? We're going to do Feeding Your Demons in a minute, I promise. It's not just a dance party and a Buddhist psychology class. Stephen. You got it, honey. Good student.
Say that again, please.
He studies with me in other contexts. Storehouse consciousness, or the all-ground consciousness, the alaya vijnana. So vijnana is consciousness in Sanskrit. Vijnana. The alaya means ground. So it's like the fertile ground that everything is stored in. It's actually said to be that consciousness, that glue that carries all of our karmic seeds from one life to the next. So when you settle deeply into deep states of meditation and you get really quiet, this maybe has happened to some of you, where the normal monkey mind finally takes a rest and you've got some deep, deep, deep quiet that's coming. And yet you hear a murmuring or a little blub, 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 but it's not like a big swirl of thoughts. It's just little murmuring or little bubbles of thoughts that come, but they're just so mild and imperceptible. That's you getting down deep into the storehouse consciousness. And liberation happens when you see the empty nature of the thoughts, the subtle impressions, when you rest in this empty awareness and you can see the empty nature of the thoughts as they arise. Buddha said that shamatha, like samadhi, is not enough to achieve liberation. You have to infuse or balance the samadhi, the shamatha, calm abiding, concentration, with vipassana, deeply seeing into the nature of thought, feeling, perception, reality. And that when you see into the empty nature of it, then its hold over you evaporates into thin air. It's like it. And that's how you uproot your karmas at the root. You basically burn the seeds so they can't sprout. So vipassana, clear seeing, deep seeing, is purifying. So resting in empty bliss is purifying. Okay. Basic Dharma 101. You just got it whether you wanted it or not. You got it. What are the 5 heaps? Do you remember? Form, feeling, perception, karmic volition, consciousness. Good. What are the 4 demons? Outer demons, inner demons, demons of elation, ego grasping, or let's say self-grasping demons. Yeah. Good. Yes.
When you say the word elation, are you referring to like demons of pride or shame?
Yeah, it's demons of pride. Yeah, like the lagi namgyal in Tibetan, which means the I. La means gods. Gi is of. Nagyal is. Na is I. Gyal is king. So me king. The gods of me king. The gods of me king. Lagi nagyal. Demons. De. Lagi namgyal de.
The question I had was, I thought it was that it's not just demons of elation, but it's also the opposites. The demons of elation. That's why I said pride or shame.
Right.
Because like
Yeah, they
when
don't.
born. Sometimes things out of shame can like birth pride.
Yeah.
Things out of pride birth shame, and it's weird.
Yeah,
like a loop.
Yeah, absolutely. Pride is hiding the shame. Does shame hide the pride?
Good.
Maybe, yeah. So even though like the name of that group is called the elation, I think in our culture the shame is stronger maybe than the pride sometimes. Whereas the Dalai Lama and my mentor Alan Wallace talked about this in a conference about like low self-esteem wasn't such a big phenomenon in Tibetan culture as it is in our culture. So it's this big interesting thing of the Dalai Lama actually breaking down crying when Alan described to him actually how much self-hatred people have towards themselves. Like it just wasn't a thing. So, but I think that we can infer that the Lagi Nagyel, it's a kind of like narcissism in a way, like there's reverse narcissism, like, oh no, I'm not very good. I'm just a piece of shit, but it's the way I get attention. It's the way I can fixate on myself. It's the way that I can, feel special. Yes. Hi.
Well, okay, I don't know if it's time for questions really, but
not really, but that's okay. I'm kidding. Yeah, go ahead. You're the last one.
I'm just curious why they're referred to as demons.
I know.
What do we gain by referring to them as
so
demons?
weird. I always say the so-called demons because I don't want to reify them as something. And sometimes people are like, I don't want to feed demons.
Sort of implies they're an agency. They have some will.
Yeah, but the Tibetan word is du, which means demon.
Why not attributes or something?
Or dragons, feeding your dragons, flying your dragons, taming your dragons. Don't believe me. With Lama Tsultrim, the board, her senior teacher team, me, all these people, are there other names we can find for this practice? But feeding your demons sticks with people. It grabs and it's basically what we're doing. Because it's based on the practice of Chöd, which is a ritual tantric Buddhist practice where you feed the demons. You invite them to the feast. You dissolve your body into nectar and you feed them. So it's meant to be confrontational, like basically feeding, not fighting. So we're not trying to make this nice. Okay? All right. Okay. So a couple people popcorn style or just a few people offer up what blocks your experience of freedom, and then we'll dive into it. The practice. Let you move, then we'll maybe somebody I haven't heard from. Yeah, self-judgment. Good. Who else? Good. Yeah. Trying to fix everything. Yeah, I was that. When I was a new mom, I was definitely stuck in that one. Got to make it all just right. It was not fun to live with. Okay, who else? What blocks your experience of freedom in your life? Fear of the unknown. Good. Yes. Addiction. Yes. A sense of lack. Good. Okay.
Endless process of becoming.
Yes. Good.
Hoping.
Yes. Good.
Procrastination.
Yes. Illness, for sure. Chronic pain, illness, disease, that can be worked with in the 5 steps just as much as the mental stuff and the emotional stuff. You don't need to know why it's there. You don't need to know what caused it. You don't need to know your psychology around it. All you need to know is like how it's feeling in your body right now, because that's our first step with this. It's very somatic. Okay? So work with something if that's blocking you. It can really help. Maybe one more? Desire. Yeah. Okay, good. So you have an idea about what you can work with now. Okay, so I am going to just throw you in the deep end. I'm going to guide you through the whole thing. So why don't you stand up, stretch your legs if you want to, or like get upside down, hang from a tree. Do what you need to do because we're going to be sitting. This process takes about 35, 40 minutes. And then you'll have time to journal or draw afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, you can lay down. If you got space and you need to lie down, you can do the practice lying down. So what I ask you to do is start lying on one side. And when I tell you to switch positions and become the demon or then become the ally later, What you do is you just roll over and go to your other side. The moving is important, right? For the sense of spatial, there's some psychological term for this. I don't know what it is. If anybody does know, please shout it out. But it's like empty chair therapy uses it, and actually moving does help you with the process. So this is an important. If you're somebody who only has one seat, that's fine. When I tell you to switch positions, like pretend I'm sitting, all you're going to do, instead of like getting up and going to the next seat, what those people do only have one seat is you just turn and then you face the opposite direction. Again, it provides that differentiation, that spatial contrast. Maybe another question while people are peeing? Could you turn up the lights just a little bit? I want people to fall asleep. Just a tiny little bit. Yeah.
Trusting be a demon?
Trusting like a lack of trust?
Lack of trust.
Yeah, you can turn up just past the strobe light level. That's nice. Yes, so a lack of trust. Yeah. Yeah. Or wanting to trust but not able to trust. Whatever that feels like. What I'm going to guide you in is touching into whatever it is you're working with. Where does that feel where do you feel it in your body? So the feeding your demons isn't so much, it's definitely not about trying to understand the story of the issue. Okay, so right away, just put that off to the side, this wanting to figure it out. And make a commitment right now to just be with the feeling in your body and trust as much as you can the process. Stay with me. Don't abandon ship and think this is a piece of shit. I'm going to space out for the next 30 minutes. Okay, like really follow my voice and stay with me. You can trust me. All right, let's sit back down. So make sure your seat is empty in front of you. If you've got your writing utensils, put them off to the side. If you have a cup or a water bottle, make sure it's like safe and you're not going to knock it over while you're switching positions, while your eyes are closed. If you do have a water bottle, please close it and then put it on its side so it doesn't go bang in the middle of the meditation. Turn off your phones. So art is an option tonight, but tonight wasn't billed as an art feeding your demons. Usually we do that, but normally the first step is to just do the practice and then journal afterwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the practice. Then I'll give you time to journal and or draw. We'll see how much time we have, honestly. Yeah, okay. All right, so sit up or lie down. If you're lying down, lie on your side. Allow the eyes to close. Make sure you're comfortable. Begin to deepen your breath. We'll take some relaxation breaths. I'll guide you through that, and then I'll give you some time to settle into what you'd like to work with. So don't worry if you don't know right this moment. We begin with the 9 relaxation breaths. So for the next 3 breaths, breathe into any physical tension you're holding in your body. Feel where you're holding physical tension. Hook it with the in-breath and release with the out-breath. And keeping the eyes closed, keeping them closed throughout the whole process as much as possible. With your next few breaths, breathe into any emotional tension. Feel where you're holding emotional tension in your body, hooking with the in-breath and release with the out-breath. And then with your last few breaths, breathe into any mental tension, worries, concerns. Feel where those are in your body. Inhale into that. Hook with the in-breath, release with the out-breath. And breathing naturally. Take a moment to arouse your heartfelt motivation of bodhicittas, aspiration to awaken for the benefit of yourself and others through this practice. Recognizing that your freedom unravels the karmas, past, the future, supports those around you. You become a place of trust and refuge through your healing. And now take a moment to feel into what you'd like to work with tonight. Maybe experiencing a handful of things, but feel what is most up for you right now. Maybe something happened at work, maybe in family life, maybe at home, or it's an old, familiar, tired theme in our life. What's draining you? What's weighing you down? What do you want to learn from? Then choosing what you're going to work with in this sit, trusting there's time for addressing others. Bring it to the foreground. You could even name it, like the demon of hope, the demon of despair. If you like. And then feel where it lives most strongly in your body. Where do you feel it in your body? What is the location of the feeling? What is the shape? What is the color? What is the texture like? Is it spiky or fuzzy, furry, metallic, rough? What's the texture of the feeling? What is the temperature? Hot, cold, neutral, warm? And then now intensify this feeling for a moment, perhaps remembering when you felt it most strongly. And then now feel this texture, shape, color, and so on, leaving your body and becoming personified as a being in front of you. The face, eyes, limbs. It can be helpful to make a gesture with your hands to help move the energy out of the body, letting it take shape in front of you. And then notice what you see. If an inanimate object appears, imagine what it would look like if it were personified, because we're going to dialogue with it. So if a tree or rock appears, then what would it look like if it were personified as a being with eyes, face, limbs? What is its size? And even if you can't see clearly, it's okay. You can sense it, feel it, imagine, trust. First thought, best thought, just trust. Go with it. What is its color? Colors? What is the surface of its body like? What is its density? Does it have a gender? What is its character? If it made a sound, what sound would it make? If it had a smell, what would it smell like? What is its emotional state? What is the look in its eyes? Now, notice something about it that you didn't see before. Now you're going to ask the so-called demon 3 questions. I'll say them and you repeat one by one after me out loud, not waiting for the answer because you'll switch positions and answer as the demon. What do you want? What do you want? What do you really need? What do you really need? How will you feel when you get what you really need? How will you feel when you get what you really need? Now, switch positions, taking the empty seat in front of you or just simply pivoting, turning, keeping the eyes closed as much as you can, staying in your own experience. And as you switch positions, then take the seat of the demon. Become the demon now. Take a moment to allow yourself to be the demon. Feel free to take a gesture, an expression to help you embody the energy of the demon. Really take it on. Let yourself go there. What does it feel like to be the demon? Might not be what you thought it would feel like. And then notice how your normal self looks from the demon's point of view. And then now, speaking as the demon, you'll answer those 3 questions, but this time silently, internally. I'll give you the beginning of the phrase, and then you repeat the beginning of the phrase and finish the sentence in silence. Speaking as the demon, really let yourself play this feeling, feel it. What I want is, what I really need is, this is the need beneath the want. What I really need is. And when I get what I really need, I will feel. Making sure this is a feeling. When I get what I really need, I will feel. And then when you're ready, switch back to your original seat. Settling back in to your normal self. And seeing the demon in front of you once again, mind's eye. Now remembering that answer to the third question, the feeling the demon would have when it got what it really needs. That feeling, let that feeling as much as you can well up inside of you. If it was love or comfort, then feel a sense of comfort, feel a sense of love welling up inside of you. And then either imagine that your body dissolves into nectar that has that quality of the feeling the demon would have when it got what it really needed. So either dissolve your body into nectar or leave your body as it is and imagine that you create an infinite supply of nectar. It's up to you. And feel this nectar flowing from you to the demon. It might be liquid, it might be rain, it might be a big pool, swim in, it might be something to drink or eat. Feel this nectar flowing from you to the demon until complete satisfaction is reached, feeding the demon to complete satisfaction. And notice the color of the nectar. And notice how the demon takes it in. Does it drink it, absorb it, swim in it? Unending supply of nectar flowing from you to the demon. If you are resisting feeding the demon, then check in. Up until now, you've probably resisted or fought it. Try something new, feeding, not fighting. Without expecting anything in return, just feed the demon to complete satisfaction. Nectar that has the quality of how it would feel when it got what it deeply needed. If If the demon itself is resisting taking in the nectar, then tell it, until now, your resistance hasn't gotten you anywhere, hasn't made you happy. Try it. Maybe sweeten it with some honey or something. Just give it a try. The nectar is what it deeply wanted anyway. That feeling it would have when it got what it really needed. That's all you're offering. Feed the demon to complete satisfaction. Then notice, has the demon shape-shifted or dissolved completely? If the demon seems insatiable, then ask, what would it look like if it were completely satisfied? And then notice what remains. The being remains. Then ask, are you my ally? If no being remains, or if it says no, I'm not your ally, then invite an ally to appear before you now. And then notice, what do you see? This energy is certainly your ally. If there's any ambivalence there when you asked if you're my ally, then the ambivalence tells you it's not your ally. The ally has your back. Invite an ally to appear now. What is its size? Its colors? What is the surface of its body like? Its density? Does it have a gender? If it made a sound, what sound would it make? But that smell, what smell would it have? What is its character? What is its emotional state? What is the look in its eyes? And now notice something about the ally that you didn't see before. And now you'll ask the ally some questions, repeating out loud after me one by one. How will you help me? How will you protect me? What pledge or commitment do you make to me? And how can I access you? Now switch positions, becoming the ally. Feel free to take a gesture, an expression, even a stance that helps you embody the energy of the ally. If the ally is standing, then stand up. Let yourself really embody the energy of the ally. Notice how it feels to be in the ally's body. Notice how your normal self looks from the ally's point of view. Really feeling yourself in the ally's body. And speaking as the ally, now you'll answer the questions silently. I'll give you the beginning and you complete in a full sentence. Speaking as the ally. I will help you by. I will protect you by. I pledge I will. And you can access me by. Is there anything else you'd like to say as the ally? And then when you're ready, slowly finding your way back to your original seat, leaving the ally back there, taking your original seat, settling in, seeing, feeling, sensing the ally in front of you. Once again, feel the power, the energy of the ally. Look into its eyes. And feel the energy of the ally flowing into you, into the crown of your head, pouring into you, down through the body, down to the fingertips, down through the legs, all the way down to the soles of the feet. And then the ally dissolves into radiant light, and that light dissolves into you, noticing the color of the light. Permeating every atom of your body, of your being. Feeling the integrated energy of the ally within you. And then you, along with the integrated energy of the ally, dissolve into spacious awareness, unbound by the confines of the body. Dissolve and rest. Rest in the experience after the dissolution. Just rest. Now slowly begin to come back into your body. The teachings say that when thoughts naturally begin to bubble up, that's when you know it's time to bring the session to a close. Feel the breath in your belly and the clothes on your skin. But without losing that feeling of the integrated energy of the ally in your body. And we'll close by dedicating any merit gained through our practice for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And then now feel free to either journal. You can use this sheet that you got and write directly on it, or if you brought a journal, you could use it as a template and journal in your journal. If you prefer to color, you could take some paper and pencils or pens over there. Alembic has provided some supplies. And you could draw the demon and draw the ally. So some people prefer to journal, some people prefer to draw. It's up to you.
Is this for us or do you want?
No, that's for you. And you'll keep that. That's for you. Yeah. It's for your own self-reflection. The tracking form is a tool we use in the training. So that's why it has all that stuff at the top. You don't need to fill it all that stuff in. Take about 10 minutes. Let's begin to wrap it up. Wrap up the journaling and the drawing. We'll come back for a discussion. Okay. So, of course, you can keep that Feeding Your Demons tracking form. That's for you. You can use it for more journaling when you're home or tomorrow or whenever you like. And also there are resources online for printing out and taking yourself through a solo journey. So you can print out the script and read a part of it, take yourself through it, then read the next part and so on. Solo work can be very nice because you pace it according to your own pace. Sometimes the feeding takes a while, or other people it's really quick and the demon's really satisfied after just 15 seconds. Other people it's like molasses, it's just really slow. So when you do when you do a solo journey at your own pace, it can be very illuminating. Some people like to read and record their voice on their smartphone or something, guiding the practice, and then press play and let their voice guide them through the journey. And that's also a very interesting thing to do. And then this class, as well as a lot of my old classes and Lama Tsultrim's teaching, she's the one who created this process, a lot of free materials on YouTube. So you can also search Feeding Your Demons on YouTube, and you'll find at least me and her, if not other people too, doing free classes. So you could just press play and close your eyes and do it. But let's take this last 8-ish minutes or so to share, ask questions, any areas of clarification, give reflection. If you want to show your drawing, you can. It's kind of fun to do show and tell. Like, okay, this is my demon and that was my ally. It's really a fun way to come together. So fire away. Any questions or comments? How was that for you? Is this your first time? Or maybe this is your 100th time? Yeah.
It was interesting to me with the focus on the body sensation of
the
demon. Like when the question arose, what would it feel like if you got what you needed? It was this instant, stark, shift that before I even really thought about it, it was very automatic feeling, which I thought would kind of caught me by surprise.
Nice. Yeah, it's meant to be a very somatic experience. So it's nice. It's good that you had that experience. And then when you fed the demon nectar that had the quality of that feeling, how was that? Do you remember?
Primarily it was me feeling that feeling, and I did struggle to direct it to the demon. It was maybe reticent to consume on some level, but I didn't want to be forceful.
No force feeding. Yeah. Do you remember it during the feeding? I said, if you are resisting feeding, then try it, because normally we fight and it's still there. So why not try something new, like feed it? If the demon is resistant to taking it in, then have a little chat with it. Put a little honey on the spoon. A little spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Or say, sometimes we have to give it a little pep talk, like, hey, buddy, you're still here. And you think you don't want this, but you're the one who just told me that when you got what you really needed, you would feel this way. So I'm offering this to you. So why would you resist it? You know? Did anybody else feel like their demon was resisting the nectar? You did too?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My demon had like a prop, and it was really like up
Interesting.
between us, and it instead of like a flow, it was like a
Go
reach
around.
the-
And you're
reach
you're
around
feeding it
the
with a
clipboard,
spoon?
Yeah, with a spoon.
It's a clipboard. Do you mind telling us what the demon was? Like what it looked like?
Yes, the demon looked like that.
On the left side.
On the left,
Oh, oh, kind of like Victorian or like
yeah, kind of a little
the Gilded
mischievous
Age.
from Chicken Run.
Oh, can you turn it around? It's a great drawing. It's really cool.
And then the ally was eating peaches.
Ooh,
Eating peaches.
Okay.
Juicy,
Summer-
juicy peaches.
summer Colorado peaches.
There's a poem. He said, "Would I dare to eat a peach?" And yes, you should dare to eat the peach.
Oh, cool.
That's the antidote, or that's the nectar.
Nice,
The
nice.
demon was not. The demon ultimately did
Did kind of,
participate, but yeah.
did she take it in? Did she take in the nectar at all? Yeah. So you could get around the clipboard. What was the clipboard? Tell us about the clipboard.
She's keeping a list.
Mm-hmm.
It's a checklist. It's a judging.
Uh-huh.
She's the examiner.
It's interesting that you had to get around that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also about, you eat the peach and the ally pledged to shine a light at this stuff, like whatever the demon is checking off. There's, if you can kind of shine a light on it and see that thing that's being judged, that's what the ally committed to do.
Yeah. I mean, the first step of healing is to see it, right?
And just
Shine light on it.
And it's like there's always stuff.
Right.
There's always stuff.
There's always stuff.
Have a peach.
Have a peach instead. Nice. Thank you. Yeah. So did somebody else raise their hand back there about also, or did you have a question? I think that was you. Yeah.
I was trying to go with first thought, best thought to this, but when I asked, or when I finished the question, when I get what I really need, what came up was I will feel afraid of loss. And then I realized as it went on, I was like, oh, I can't really use that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then I found something else, but
Yeah. What did you find?
well, I kind of imagined like, oh, well, that wasn't maybe freedom and openness.
Yeah.
With that, but it felt like that wasn't a true thing that came up.
Can we go back and trace the beginning? So, what was the answer to the first question? What do you want?
Feel full.
To feel full. Then how will you feel when you get what you really need? I'm sorry. What do you really need? The second question is what do you...
To let go and
to let go and be held. And then how will you feel when you get what you really need? Right. So I think, like if I was working one-on-one with you and if the fear of loss came up, I would do what we just did. I'd say, let's go back and let's track the answers. So I would feel, so what I want is, say it again. To be full. Feel full. And what I really need is to let go. And so basically we could replace that and say, when you've let go and you feel held, how will that feel? Maybe right now, do it with me. Like, what would you say as the demon?
expansive.
There we go. Yeah. So then that's what you would feed the nectar as. So when you switch back to your normal self and then we'd let expansiveness fill your body, and then you'd imagine either that you dissolve your body into nectar that has the quality of expansiveness, or you just create an infinite supply of nectar. Why do you think we give that choice of either dissolving the body or not?
For some people who have like certain histories, it may be a little bit dissociative or not grounding, or maybe like the energy in the body will be too overwhelming. So by allowing them to stay in the body, then they can kind of keep some ground.
It's the former, it's more of the former. So what Lama Tsultrim says is that if you're feeding a demon that causes you to dissociate, then don't dissolve, because that could kind of trigger that dissociation. So don't dissolve, just imagine that you're creating an infinite supply of nectar. It can come from the sky, it can be a big pool of nectar. One time I nursed a baby, the breast milk was nectar. Anything you can feed it. Ice cream. Sometimes it takes nectar mist in through the pores. Anything goes. Also with children, we're taught not to have them dissolve their body, because they're in the process of life where they're forming their sense of self. So it's not necessary and not advised to have them dissolve their sense of self yet. So again, just tell the children, just imagine that you're feeding an infinite supply of nectar in any way that comes to mind. I don't beat those points over like a dead horse. I trust that intuitively you guys in the moment will know, I don't really feel like dissolving my body. But dissolving the body is more close to the original shamanic approach. It's what we do in the Chöd practice. Chöd means to sever or cut, grasping onto ego. It's Machi Glabdran, who I spoke of earlier when I was teaching on the demons. She's the one who founded the practice of Chöd. So originally that was the only option, was you do. And then there was some other elaborate stuff. I don't have time, so I can't go into the other elaborate stuff that was done in the early iteration of Feeding Your Demons. But when Lama Tsultrim wrote her book, Feeding Your Demons, which is a great book, get the book if you're curious. The editor said it's a little too far out what you're doing. It's like, you eject consciousness out through the Brahma aperture and you become the blue-black Dakini, and then you chop up your body and put it in a cauldron that becomes 3,000 times bigger, and it becomes nectar, and there's fire from below, and pleasure, bliss, hum syllables dripping down from above, creating the nectar. That's the Chöd. And she had that part in the early Feeding Your Demons practice. And a lot of us are like, old timers are like, we like that. But this is more for mainstream consumption. This kind of just direct. So, that's the nuance there about why you're dissolving and why you're not dissolving. We are at time here. So I do feel like I need to respect time. When I do Feeding Your Demons, I do 2-hour classes. So it goes 7 to 9. I hope you knew that. When I do the regular Tuesday night meditation and mantra and movement class, Releasing into Presence, we go an hour and a half. It's just 7 to 8:30. Okay, so we're at 9. I feel like I should end. And I will have a couple announcements, so I'm sorry. I'll sit up here, and if you really need to ask something, I can answer one-on-one. So a couple things. Next week, I will be teaching a retreat somewhere else at Esalen. So I will have a sub here, and then I'll be back. And then I'll be back for, a while. And so please come next week. It'll be a great sub. I don't know who it is yet, but we have a couple good people in the running. And then I'll be back the week after that, and we'll keep going with our book study. We're studying a wonderful book called On the Path to Enlightenment. It's a very good book. So everybody's welcome to come and drop into that anytime. The other thing I want to announce is if you are curious about Feeding Your Demons and you want to go deeper, either for your own benefit and growth, or if you are a therapist or a social worker or a meditation teacher, yoga teacher, massage therapist, acupuncturist, service-oriented person, whatever you're doing, if you feel that you would like to learn more about Feeding Your Demons and actually start on the path to getting certified to bring this into your work, because I think the most potent version of this is the one-on-one work. The group work is good for introducing it, and it can be really deep. But one-on-one, again, you pace it with your client. It's a wonderful tool to have as a therapist, as a meditation teacher, all those things I listed. So as training is starting, it's an online Feeding Your Demons level 1 training is starting through Tara Mandala on September 6th. September 6th. It's a wonderful course. And it's an 8-week session for part 1. So go ahead and search taramandala.org, Feeding Your Demons, and you'll see the information there. Last thing, August 17th, Sunday at 6:30 p.m., we will be here for another Echoes of Emptiness Kirtan night with me and my musician friends and all of you. We sit in a circle around candles and we chant and we meditate, we sing. It's a really beautiful evening. So that's 6:30 on Sunday, August 17th. Yeah, we do that once a quarter. Okay, thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. I hope you benefited from the practice tonight. Be well. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. Enjoy tea. You're welcome. Enjoy tea out there. Make some new friends. Or I'll sit up here for a little bit and answer questions. If you're new, you can introduce yourself to me. Somebody else. You never come to this class?
So I think one time I tried to come and it was late, so I just sat outside. I don't want to be disruptive. I don't want to be the disruptive people. So yeah, so I just sat outside, and I think I did it either on my phone or something.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe
It's because my name's Krishna, so then you might be familiar with. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And of course,
Yeah. Okay, I have a few questions, but I want to keep it not too much to kind of simplify. The first question I had would be, I've done Feeding Your Demons through my phone, I guess, or my laptop. So I had some challenges for something before, and they were kind of like, I follow my Hungry Ghost, or like a Hungry Ghost film type thing, and I would just do Feeding Your Demons like back to back, and it was, I can do it when you're giving the sounds, because I can't do it because I didn't have enough skill. Like I can follow along very smoothly, but it's very hard. I read parts of it. So like I read more of it more recently. But when you were doing it before, I would just sit in my bed and just literally just do it in my bed. Like I'm not even like moving sometimes. I feel like I can't. It's like I have too much crazy stuff going on. So it's like I can just do it and then like I can get up back to normal. But the parts, usually what I do is I in my bed, I'll see parts like sides or something. I'll do some tests. I read the section recently on like the hydro complex. Complex thing. So I'm dealing with a situation which I think there's like a couple of hydro complex things. More recently, even before I had something that like that. But most of the time, it's either a hungry ghost or I think so, yeah. It's kind of like hungry ghost is like an early childhood thing. And I can't trace down to where it was originally, but I just know it's there. And that's causing me a problem. Hydra is more like directed at myself. Very instinctual, kind of angry type of energy. But it feels like it kind of more out of some pain thing. Yeah. It shows up for me as like protection. So for when it's a Hydra, it'll show up to me as
Okay, good.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Like I feel like
Yes, we're I'm glad you got up and danced. Let's go. Yeah, one day. Oh, you were that's great. I would love to. Okay.
oh yeah. I feel like sure. Oh yeah, I feel like these Yu-Gi-Oh cards and they like kind of like represent sometimes archetypally what I deal with emotionally. This time around, my guy looked more like. I would really like to, but right now I'm dealing with some demons. I mean, I guess technically I can use it to help me. Yeah, right now basically I'm doing a lot of medical things actually, so it's a little bit difficult. So I think what would be really good for me would be if someone could do feeding your demons for me as I'm going through my medical thing. Because like currently, for example, I'm going through the cancer thing. It's pretty intense. Yeah, so it's been like kind of like a yeah, exactly. Someone to like do
We won't bring that up right now.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good experience. Exactly, yeah, because then I can kind of walk through some of those issues that are deep. I would love to do a training or at least like, I'll just buy feeding you to it. I'm already ready. It's pretty good. It's a good reference, and I think if I'm in a good energy space where I have like a lot of resources, I think it'd be good to kind of do something like that. My current goal is actually I want to do this therapy called primal therapy, and I want to kind of work through some primal energy directly. Yeah, and then right now I would try to do my best to get as much benefit from doing like different resource practices and like feeding your demons and doing therapies there. But I really want to go have enough like resources, have enough like kind of ally resource energy in me. So when I do primal therapy, I go down to the hormones. I don't like totally shut down. But that's kind of my go-to. I don't mind doing the course because I'm not doing anything else outside of my cancer things mostly recently. But it's very intense for me to go through treatments and process things. Yeah, I think you can definitely make an appointment. Yeah, but this was how my demon looked. It's like a Hydra demon dragon. So it evolved as like it's called Yubel the Ultimate Knight. But basically it's about on this set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards called Phantom of Darkness. So they have all these darkness cards. But my ally was more like Amitabha. It was actually directly Amitabha. It wasn't like literally some other thing. So it's like my demon is like the ultimate nightmare, and then like my ally is like Amitabha. Like don't trip, man. Like I'm gonna give you a pure land. So you're gonna have a good home that's like nice, even if everything was crazy. You know? Yeah. I've seen Amitabha in Japan, like the statue. It looks like really cool, actually. It actually feels kind of like it has like a real like pure light energy. Like when you see the statue go there, it feels like, but kind of like a pure light. Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's my first.
Namo Mitsubaya.
That's our ally.
I would like to
Two of us.
Sure. I would definitely love to like book Deception, and it would probably be maybe a lot of deception. Exactly, yeah. Okay, sure. Okay, take care. Yeah.
It just like sprout.
Yeah, and I was sort of like, are you? I have someone with me.
Yeah, we're kind of just listening.
Yeah, maybe it was really
So
like.
I ran into a bit of an issue.
I think it was.
Do you want to?
Well, now you're up
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, the back race too, huh?
Yeah. The rabbit
I'm very relaxed.
Yeah, the back.
Okay.
No, it's a 10.
Yeah, it's kind of like thing. This is like kind of more of a close-up. Oh yeah, and
Wow.
like
Yeah.
the seat of your being, like wow, it's like inside you. It's like no, you're just super could be erotic, but like it wasn't like a super like popping, it was just like I being together. So I'm not feeling about you. And it's like realize that.
I feel like you have like 3 hours.
It's like 3 hours. She's like, you have about 10 minutes of let me go.
It's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
It would like totally see you out of that,
Yeah, so it's not
out of like.
get the hang of it, you know? Kind of neat.
Oh my goodness.
This
You know,
the
Yeah.
feel that answer.
Yeah,
Artist where we feel. Okay, well, I feel a little very sturdy, but it's good because.
That's you feel well up inside. That's sort of it. Is that like before you just said no?
It was
no,
like,
your body
I feel like it's never like
kind of like a work on my partner's dad. It's like,
because of all so
Mm.
it's I'm
so
experimenting
it
with
was like
this
a work on it.
new
And
way
it's funny
too,
because
and it's not always easy to be like, oh yeah.
like what it
Mm.
I don't know.
Right.
But no, not the head.
Yeah.
So
But,
don't
um,
worry too much about that.
It was like this like.
The main thing is the intention.
His most profane, like posture at the end, and the baby is like shriveled up and then turns.
another way to turn into you.
Spoiled.
Oh, shit.
I'm kidding.
But
You're still like.
Yeah.
but so it's like kind of this shriveled like face arm screeching. You know, just making the ugliest cry. And
That was a very.
yeah, kind of. And then it's like sort of self-hatred work. The test like into it.
Don't worry about it.
That's like
I don't want
Oh.
so then I think I offered
your normal, you know, like this, you feels, it makes sense, right?
The ally.
So I gave it like nectar and it was like, and it just like it was warming. It was like choking on the nectar, and I had to
So that you're not feeling like
a little baby around because it was like.
yeah, it's a new element of
Yeah, we did that too.
And it was just like
some colleagues of mine.
flipping out. Oh, really? So it's been very
I really don't
under
want you to be so.
and then when she was like, "Oh, see if this is your ally," I was like, "Really trying hard to like see if I can find this ally." And I got in trouble.
The web.
Minus
But I have no.
I know. It's an interesting thing because sometimes we feel, and sometimes it's very, we should learn.
I feel like I would not have had like any
people.
Oh God, I know that makes sense.
Right.
And so I
Be aware of the
I did
balance.
like weird shit where I guess, but I was like actually thinking about that. Where like where is my art? My art. But yeah, it was beautiful. That's all. It was like Pegasus. I mean, also sort of and it told me I was happy.
Yeah.
Never actually
Doing all this shit.
that was kind of my conclusion fun. Really was one of I feel like the heaven realm, like the angel realm. Yeah, like they're having celestial children. It's mad bed. You guys. I'll teach you about love and you'll make yourself that's fun. To where that's like I'm terrified. I do have experiences. I just want to see your
I think the imagery that ultimately I put on the page was exceedingly simple. It was very like somatic for me. Like I was working with shame, and it felt like this deep heaviness, like kind of equally spaced, like this wet blanket, heavy burden, and like it was strange to like kind of peel it out of me and let it form kind of. And it really took a very naturally this shape of just very dense, weighty, and heavy. And what it needed, what it wanted was to be understood. What it needed was to be loved. And when the feeling was just this instant like lightness, not like light, but like physically less dense, like just that spread through my body, and I was like, oh, like I can't even make this nectar into a liquid that's like too goopy and heavy, you know. And so I was just shining like beams at it, and it was like recoiling because it was like dissolving it, and it was like it felt existentially threatening. I got into the ally, like clearly I was very sure that this was not my ally, and like I felt huge. Like I was like suddenly I was this like mountain-sized like statue, like looking down at myself, and it was just like.
So did you get any imagery?
When I was embodying the ally, I was during that part I was like enormous compared to myself, and I was like I will always be there. It's just a matter of like listening, and it was just this like transmission of that like kind of that light. And I think the practice for me is to. It's easy to think when I'm like okay about that, but like the practice is catching it when I'm like in the body.
He wasn't like fighting.
What is the truth? I just stopped.
Well, it's like it's just easier to forget in that like I view it as an altered state. You know?
Yeah, but I would say this.
That's the ally. You know,
That's
just
the
kind of
big one.
just being expansive, like having that higher kind of perspective. But it was like it was really comforting the like the sense of like companionship and guardianship from it. And I felt that it was important that these eyes were just hollow, completely featureless. They were just holes. That's what I noticed when we noticed something new. I was like, the eyes are just nothing. And the ally has this like kind of this much more developed, like wisdom-oriented eye. It's more of like a universal intelligence. That's the shine.
I know, but it's just there's a.
I just saw that.
Anybody in Norway right now? I know.
I like the simplicity. You accomplished a lot with your little
Two wonderful
marketing.
and Netherlands. Also, many German songwriters sisters of mine. They're,
I just caught a sneak of it earlier.
if this is something.
I thought that the prompt of what it notice something is just for
Manifest as the ally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for me it was the my ally. And I didn't draw it on the
You realize
my my demon, but like there were like gems. But the gems were there to be like,
It sounds like you're taking out.
to make it seem like it's got something, but it doesn't. I didn't draw that.
Like it forces you to really be like, what's like kind of
Right.
or else like this.
Yeah, or like maybe it's another level. Again.
I remember your Tinder photo was like you in the bathroom. It was the bathroom.
I feel like this is a creature.
It's a primate, but it's like tricycle on its jumpers. So it's like so yeah, it was just like small. Oh, it's actually I was like, how? What are you thinking? You know, and then what we started like almost talking. Like I didn't. I remember that. Yeah, and I was super high, and so I like after we ended the show, it was like yeah, that was the first time we met, and after the show, like we went to cause like like chocolate covered pizzeria. Is it sticky? And yeah, I bought like all the stuff, and I
Just different aspects of it.
you know, so I still have it. That was our first time meeting each other. I remember
And then when you're
my
having these
first
visions too, of course.
you were like, oh, I don't know, I haven't been.
Stop moving, I'm trying to draw you.
Yeah,
And I let that feedback, I had to like turn away from like planning how to draw it. I use drawing generally as a spiritual practice, and so I knew that like I would want to draw after that channel. So I had to like kind of
Just
somehow
experience of it. I found myself.
And I guess I just ended up doing both, because I was like, all of these
Right.
examples.
That was probably.
yeah.
And then that was when fear of the unknown.
Probably like they just didn't have the time.
Yeah, this is everyone's first.
Mine.
I've never eaten before.
Nice to hear your metaphor.
Yeah.
So it's just funny, so once I went to so I was gonna go to like a spiritual and the therapist just really like actually have your inner critics. And they have like making up like way. And the therapist is like, oh, you. And I guess I was just like, I just like your genius. Like I just wanted to say that like, not to diminish maybe whatever
No, it could be
relationship you have with
Yeah.
someone. I was like, what, like, it's the cutest little ugly thing. It just was like, I just found it amusing.
Okay.
Right? Like I like wanted like, I was like,
Yeah.
what do you want to picture that demon? It's so cute.
Little trophy bits.
Yeah.
Or
just-
to yourself,
The body, the
Yeah.
body.
There's something like
I just like to care.
And then
It's just
some
easier.
other side,
Yeah.
It is easier to see
So I
like.
stayed in the marriage.
Right.
But then when I saw
Yeah.
the unhappy marriage.
Well, yeah. Right, if anything, like this is not as cute.
It's so
Okay. It doesn't have features like cute.
I thought I was doing.
So is the night like a I thought it was a carrot actually, like a carrot knife.
Yeah, it felt great. Yeah, and then it was so obvious, like once the decision.
Well, and this is also, it has a gem, but it's for real.
And I
So,
have a
yeah, well, like it's actually accessible, like this is just like,
Then I
there's like
spent
two
a
gems,
year
but they're
falling
not
in love.
actually accessible, but it's like imagination, it's like the hope. But then this one's like, it's really. Yeah.
Give me touching the knife.
Oh, the knife, what's it?
Give me warm at night.
I think it's like a ferocity, like that is required. It's not all just love and sparkles, you know. You gotta
So you're going back to.
kind of like setting things.
Tomorrow.
Not,
Okay.
it's like all like
It's a vibe.
things about
I hope you have a lie down seat.
I don't know about that. You'll do it.
Yeah.
Longer than a couple hours.
It's really hard. I just.
In this case, I think
That's
it's
a
probably
good thing you mentioned because I forgot. Yeah, like I know.
Yeah, and then getting rid of.
Have you ever gotten those eating, like the
Thanks everyone for sharing your
Yeah.
day.
start?
Like,
Yeah.
Once you take it
Yeah.
out of your
I know it's not easy to just
Let me show you my
Yeah.
ugly ass
Or,
shit.
show me yours, I'll show you mine.
My little curious kitten. I'm overriding my
Yeah.
shame spiral.
That's ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk around a lot. Good.
Do
All
you
right.
have to
Do you have dogs? Stay in touch if you want. You're welcome.
I just heard it.
Yeah. I might wanna do that. Sounds like it's
That's
odd.
good.
Other than.
Yeah, every.
Yes, I am. I guess better.
It's like a little.
Same different things or
The same, like the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Like different things.
Yeah, we could do.
Hi, yeah, good to see you.
I actually.
Right on. Good to see you. Nice to see you. See you. All right, yeah.
I realized when you asked for
I didn't have to do it.
But.
Yeah.
I didn't. I forgot that I couldn't find share in front of everyone. And I just felt the pressure of like,
Yeah.
afterwards I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that
Or like,
pressure
just
felt
like aligned at the
sure
core.
that if I had stopped and thought about it.
That's like.
So it was just a day.
Yeah, I guess I think there's.
Because what you said was really useful, but I wouldn't have
Yeah.
felt like.
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
Can imagine.
Yeah, are you?
I hear on the spot. Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
not sure. Okay.
No, I know. So, I know.
What if I were letters?
Michael,
you shouldn't do it.
Hey, Michael.
Now I'm just gonna call you.
That'd be fine, actually.
But Mega? Like Alpha?
Nice.
Yeah.
Mega Michael. Mega
It's
Michael.
really interesting.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
Sarah.
yeah. So I do
Yes.
use questions as teaching questions so that we can move
Oh.
forward.
Lack of sounding like
You too. It works. There's a reason we say that. Use these words.
And then like the youth.
Sometimes people get really lost in the process.
Oh, yeah.
Stop stealing my bird. Like now I don't want to say it.
Yeah, we're culprits.
You knew that that answer was
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, vibes. That was it, vibes. So it's vibing.
You knew it actually.
Yeah, that's extremely useful at one. Oh, yeah. Take care of yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, you as well. See you around.
Thank you. You're welcome. Have a good TLS lunch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, you're welcome.
My demon needed that. It was actually like choking on the nectar. It was it was so malnourished that I had to it was going back and forth between different states. So I was just it was like a manic. It was a manic. I was like, okay, it's okay. Here's enough nectar.
I know, it's not funny how they have this.
Literally today.
That's wild. Well, and it was what I was going to ask if it's okay to respect your time.
It was this morning.
Is also I'm Sarah. Nice to see you again. We talked about roadkill animals.
Oh, that was you. I was like, she looks really That's really
Yeah, rescuing
That was so
roadkill.
funny with Jen, yeah.
Unsafe and safe.
That was you.
Was the ironically the demon my partner's dad is like a wild game hunter, I think. And my demon was like one of the warthogs I sleep under that like is the ugliest of all of them, and it was just like ratchet, and I just that was the demon. But it when you asked about it being an ally or not,
Yeah.
I guess I'm curious I don't know, from like a Buddhist psychology or the transmutation like aspect. Why can't that be the ally? Like I ended up having an ally that like took a while to get there. I'm like, do I have an ally? But I was curious why that kind of, when you said it feels ambivalent, that was helpful because it kind of
That's it.
it went away like to the right and it was kind of like taken up. But I guess I'm curious why like that isn't the ally, or because there's something intelligent there. But is it like you need a resource that's even more like connected to like because it's still got some confusion?
Well, sometimes, like, especially in a group, when I'm guiding, like, okay, we're going to feed the demon, keep feeding, complete satisfaction. But because it's the group process, I have to estimate when okay, it's time we need to go to the next step. So not everybody's going to be done with their demon. Whereas if I'm working one-on-one with you, I'll say, no, feed, satisfaction, what do you see? And there's a bit of a communication, and then I know when you're done. I'm done. Tailor to you, but I have to say, okay, so now if it's not satisfied after a while, if it's still not satisfied, then imagine what it would look like if it were completely satisfied. That's called the subjunctive trick. It tricks the mind. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just goes there already then.
Kind of goes there. But having said that, also as a group, even when it's completely satisfied, it still might be there, or maybe it's dissolved completely. Or if a being appears in some way that feels, sometimes people have like demons that are kind of ambivalent or passive aggressive, but it's not ally. It's not an ally. It's like maybe the unsatiated, still little part of that demon that's still there. That's not the ally. The ally is an energy that is 100% there.
It's like benevolent. They're not confused.
Because if you're trying to do the ally work, this part is not confused. It's going to be confusing, and then you might get an ally saying, like, I'm not a killer. That's why I tried to just clarify that. That doesn't mean that little remnant part might still not have something for you. But if I was working one-on-one with you, I'd say, well, let's keep feeding it.
Okay. Yeah. But in theory, does that part eventually become the ally?
It does. Sometimes it does. So basically, that's why I said, like, what is the thing that means? Is it the ally? Ask it if it's the ally. If it is, then let it be there. And then you make it the ally. That's the ally. If not, or if no being remains, then you invite the ally to leave. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it's like, this is my first time doing this, and it's like, it's like, there's some like, if we're doing like transmutation shit, it can sometimes take a little bit, right?
Yes, it can take a little bit.
So, I was just curious about at the center of the demon.
It is. The center of the demon is the ally. Basically, often I'll say this, I didn't say it so much tonight, which is basically the demon is just not enough energy. It's not traumatized energy. It's not bruised or something. It's stuck. So by seeing it, externalizing it, seeing it, dialoguing with it, embodying it, and feeling it, we're sort of to loosen up, and then that energy will liberate it, and it's liberated, expresses itself as instant energy. And that's the ally. So yeah, it's a nugget. We are the demon, we are the ally. It's two sides of the same coin.
That's what I kind of was sensing, but I recognize that it might need to take longer than what I feel. So going to like a resource, it's very clearly a resource or an ally.
Yes. And when you hit on a demon that's really, really strong, you can do it again. You don't just do one and then on to the next thing. Like Lama Tsultrim says, if you land on a demon that's in your wounds, I like to doing it regularly until you feel the shifting. Like often she'll say, just commit to doing it like 3 nights and see what happens. So you come back fresh each time, not assuming it's going to look or feel the same way. So if it's like an addiction demon, maybe one day it's in the mouth, another day it's in the belly. And one day it appears as fuzzy, looking funny demon, and the next day it might look like worm or something. It's not always going to feel or look the same, but you're working with the same
energy and the same
kind of law.
Commitment to seeing it.
Yeah, and you'll get more agility with the transfer feeding and the transfer my allies too. The first time's always a little wonky because it's like a new road trip. You don't know where you're going. But then once you've gone there once, then there's like, okay, I can relax and go, we're close, you know. The way you do it, yeah.
Thank you. I'm
You're
curious
welcome,
about,
Sarah.
I actually looked at your SLM retreat and I was like, I think too late to apply for the scholarships. You know, like
Oh, I know, it's
SLM, you have to like 40 days.
Oh,
I think you have to apply 40 days
because it
ahead.
takes them that long.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
There's
was,
another one right after Christmas.
Okay.
It's on my website.
Ooh,
It's
maybe
a
I'll-
shorter one.
That's
but
okay.
it's December 26th to the 28th.
okay.
Yeah, and then there's one in April. I have they just contacted me.
Oh, cool. Okay, so
So
just
everybody's like, I will come there 10 times a year if you let me.
I've actually never been. I've always wanted to go, and I was sort of obsessed with Gabrielle Roth, and she talked a lot about Esalen and sacred prayer. So I just, anytime I think of Esalen, I just think of her like dancing on the beach.
It's all about fire. Yes, yes. They love
And your feed your demons series, is that one you're teaching, or is it?
No, that's one my really great colleagues. They really. I used to be like one of the, like the main teacher of the book, and they stepped up and developed
Yeah, and there's probably scholars. I think I looked at
scholarships.
Paramount
They have scholarship funds, so you definitely participate. Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, well, if nothing else, I'm just gonna keep coming up Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah, I think I mentioned I used to be part of Chöd, and I was there for 5 years. And I was like being touted as one of the young little leaders, and then I got off that crystal tube, I think.
Yeah.
And, I actually, Lama Tsultrim Allione, like totally was super supportive when I decided to leave Shambhala. And she taught it. She did a day at San Francisco where she did the like rainbow something, and then I just told her I was like so pissed that I was like the Sakya, and like that little asshole is abusing. Like I wasn't even a student. Like why? And she was like, I'm gonna cry every time. She said, "The Dharma is yours. No one can take that from you." And I like didn't really realize I gave fucking Shambhala my power, like my Dharma. When I took it back, I was just like alone and sacred all over again. Like my Zen Buddhist friend told me, like here, heaven above, earth below. Here I stand alone and sacred.
Oh, I love this.
That was like my when I sat Zen was the first kind of sangha. It was like a little Zen phrase or whatever. And I was like, oh, here I am again by myself. But it's like, you know, it's easy to lean on sangha and it's beautiful, but if they're saying the wrong shit and you're doing unethical things and following the unethical person, it's like burn that shit. I was like, may it burn in the charnel ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Kalima, drink it up and spit it out.
Yes. Totally. Oh, well, we've had a lot of Shambhala folks come to us, to our mandala.
Yeah, and
So if you ever want to rejoin the Sangha, our mandala is very cool.
yeah, I mean, I think I have in my sort of karmic lineage, I have like a definitely Tibetan because I love the like color and the aliveness. And sometimes I get lost with all the where am I supposed to melt my medicine Buddha and like. But there's an energy that I really appreciate, and I love like I love transmutation. Yeah. So. And well, I feel really grateful to have.
Yeah, you got Tuesday nights.
Tuesday night, I know. So anyway, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sarah. I'm glad you saw you. Take care.
Have a good retreat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's deaf. I didn't figure that out.
That's all.
There's a lot of things about it. But she hates pets, like bad bracelets. She hates them also, like my favorite over it. She'll like put her legs like off of the outside of the bed, even though like she like avoids them at all costs. But when he was dying on his bed, she crawled up and like spooked him and her and
Is it hard to get them day one?
also wanted to do Monday as an option, and then she stayed there for 2 hours. And I called it the process. It's kind of on this whole statue. Like, and she kept covering it. She doesn't have desire to be on that space otherwise. She can use that. Because you can do for a while, and it's when she stopped. Practicing for side is like regular there.
For me, the problem I've run into was that I found myself getting really angry. It was kind of frightening. I was like, oh, am I doing this wrong? Blah, blah. So then I started feeling more like this.
I don't know, but in like yeah, my grandpa also would in the back of my head I started listening during the night because that's when we call the spirits on the rest to your body. Because I loved to whistle as a little kid. And there was a time in a period in my life where I was like, fuck it, like I want the spirits coming to me, you know, so I whistle and I started to like realize.
Yeah.
And like teach it, especially after experiencing this trial of my life, just realized at least once next step is something is
Yeah.
bring that back. Sometimes as long as you're for staying, it's just that's so cool. There's still things sometimes that I'm like just stuff it up and forget it. Yeah, this speech reminds me of the soul. So, like,
How did you feel?
I know she meant well, but like I was so done listening to her. And that makes me talk crazy.
Yeah.
So I was just over it, but like, thank God.
That's the confusing thing because you bring up stuff that's painful and your first instinct might be, oh, no, I messed up. But it's actually, it was there the whole time or whatever.
Your ally. Yeah.
A little bit. I'm
Yeah.
actually,
He also
going
was
to
very into it.
Montreal in a couple of weeks. And I'm going to see
I have
my TRU instructor. Oh, okay. It's really cool. I thought when you guys were talking about fashion, I was thinking about that. basically,
but he didn't
like I said, exercises like you can do a very gentle, or you like do a wall sit and hip raise on the ground or whatever. And then once you've held those for long enough, and the muscles have become weakened, your body will just shake involuntarily. And so you can do that for like 20 minutes a day or whatever, and it's basically just, shaking out the tension that you've been holding. TRE, yeah. And it's not that uncomfortable for me. I enjoy it, and it feels great when you're done. It's just a little bit strange at first because you're not used to your body like moving without you. But it's kind of cool in that way because like you can't do it wrong. Your body will just do what it needs to do.
That sounds like kind of hard. Yeah, and also my cat still operates the same way that he did. She's not going to be a surface out, but she's also she did help looking after someone who used it would usually like that time wasn't going to be asleep forever. It was really hard because for me, too long. That's dangerous. 30 hours at a time. I'm just waking up, working paralysis. Wow, but it's gotten better over the years. The one that comes up, I get scared. Yeah. It's hard. How do you so, yeah, I look out for signs. I take time when I feel like I can sense things out there and I'm starting to get a little more control these days. So it helps, and I just quit. The owners said that he wants me to start.
Honestly, just like a place
I don't know, I'm still feeling it.
like community where it's so
I'm curious about what your journey has been like with finding work that is more rounded to yourself. Yeah, because it's so easy. Yeah, it is. But if you yeah, thanks for listening to me.
change that. The first one that was a meeting that aren't, isn't like a neutral for another meeting.
Just in case.
You're very cool. It made it easy.
Is that the Olympic sound bowl or is that the teachers?
Oh yeah, that's
a
a
lot
lot.
of here.
Yeah, go for it. Let me just put this away. You should hit it first. Oh. Is there anything else that I can help with to help wrap up tonight?
Yeah, if we could just organize these.
Yeah, better. Yeah.
Flip it the other way.
Yeah.
And also if I remove this, maybe we can have another separate pile.
That sounds good.
Flip So the black is to, I guess, to go on that side.
Oh, we wanted this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, with a cup. Oh, thankfully it did not fall.